Month 7 in the eternal calendar, month 10, day 23, 2022. In dreams, I saw myself with a couple who were brothers. I was walking with them when suddenly, in front of us, I saw a nominal Adventist church. And I stopped. I slowed the walk, but they continued, and I saw them go in. My intention was to wait for them to come out, to continue the conversation. But I was indicated to go inside. When I went in, they were projecting a song that said, "Every time the Red Sea you have to go through." There they were all standing, raising their hands, moving from side to side, clapping their hands. I stood in a corner by the door and said, "Lord, what should I do?" I started to sing a hymn from the old hymnal, and no one was noticing. But soon a little girl, noticed my presence. She came closer to me and asked me, "What are you doing?" I told her, "I'm here singing praise to the Lord, to the Eternal." And she asked me, "And why don't you sing the one that is being sung? You do not like it?" I told her that the Eternal had specified his music, and this to safeguard us from idolatry and to not mix the holy with the profane. So she started singing with me. Soon it was all over, and I saw the couple come out that I was talking to them earlier. I went out after them and told them of the why this music did not please God, and that they should desist from this and from the corporate corruption if they wanted or desired to be faithful to God and be saved. They both looked at me as if I was exaggerating things, and they told me, "Let's go to our house. We will talk more about it there." At that time, we passed through a community that the complexes were 2 stories, and there were leafy trees between them. Soon I heard a familiar voice that said to us, Look behind that tree, up there in the sky. What bright light and colors." I looked, but saw nothing. There was a leafy tree in front of me, so I ran to pass under the leafy tree that was blocking my vision. Then I could see the heavens open, and the Son of Man, with his crown on his head, accompanied by an entourage of angels. At that time, I exclaimed to the couple, the ones I was walking and talking with, "Look, Jesus is coming, and because you are still in this and I, trying to make you understand, he's coming catch us in the cities. Now possibly we will not be saved." I felt a great anguish in my being, an indescribable anguish. It was as if all hope of life was erased from my being. A great sorrow and pain and a terrible fear took possession of my being. I saw his face. It was resplendent, more resplendent than the sun. But in a moment the glow of his face disappeared, and I saw his human face. "There," he told me with penetrating eyes, so penetrating that I felt that he could see my entire interior to the marrow of my bones. I am speechless when explaining this feeling. And he told me, "This that you have felt, to see that I am arriving by surprise, so it will be for many the time of their visitation and of my coming. And they will be terrified without remedy. But fear not. This is only for you to witness such a feeling. But go to yours and tell them that I am coming back, and because of these sins, many will not be saved." He then began to tell me these are pride, idolatry, haughty spirit, discontent, indifference, partiality, and slander. This, each one with its roots in the seven forms of falling, will be the end of many who, knowing everything, denied in their lives the efficacy of everything. Brothers, it was terrible to hear these words from his mouth. I fainted with fear before such a holy, eternal being. His face shone again like the sun. I had to withdraw my sight immediately because I couldn't see. Everything was blinding me. And he told me, now I am leaving. Not even one moment, but the time is not at this instant. So I saw that all that entourage that was seen in this open sky, as if it were a deep hole with many layers in its interior, all full of angels and with bright colors, those of the rainbow, and the eternal in the middle. All this entourage turned and began to go back, go back, go back, until the hole continued closing and closing and closing, and the clouds and the sky closed completely, and I did not see more. I woke up with a start at that moment. I looked at the clock. It was 4:30 in the morning. At that moment, I fell to my knees in front of the Eternal. It was such a great fright that there was within my being, due to the surprise of finding myself with the coming of the Lord at that moment, like that, so by surprise. Oh, beloved brothers, I do not even want to think what are going to feel those who are caught by the coming of the Lord by surprise. For this sins that the Lord has declared with his own mouth, those two who pierced him, I cannot even think how terrified they will be when they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven. I cannot either think of knowing what those who had so much light in front, but who, due to preconceptions and for following men, did not want to listen to the word of truth and the warnings of the Eternal. And they left everything that the Eternal gave to his people in this time aside, and they will be taken by surprise. The Lord is speaking here of the time of his visitation and the time of his coming, two totally different events. Oh, beloved brothers, I know that the understood will understand, but please, I ask all the flock of the Eternal to pray for all the brothers around the world, for all those who are still in the valley of decision, so that they can soon take position, because certainly the Lord is returning. Everything is indicating it to us. There is no need to talk much to realize of the things. Each time things are getting tighter. The Lord said that this was going to happen. That grant that many can unlearn, that many may remove their preconceptions from themselves and may follow in the footsteps of the teacher. It is my wish and prayer that it be so. May the Lord bless us.